Hello, and welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Ashley.
And our podcast is all about talking about our love of Tolkien stories and maybe introducing or helping you through some that you might have missed.
This season, we are covering the Unfinished Tales, Tolkien's extended version / alternate universe / deleted scenes of a lot of the stories from the Silmarillion, plus some bonus content that didn't quite work with the Silmarillion narrative flow.
So, whether you've read every book cover to cover, or you're just here because you're curious about Tolkien's other works, or had a hard time reading them, all are welcome.
Now let's jump into the Unfinished Tales.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Actually, you know what? No, I don't want to jump into it because last time you cut me up, we ended the episode and it was sad. And I know that we're probably going to jump into another sad episode.
Today is more like a bit more soap opera, or as Netflix calls some shows, it's soapy.
Huh?
That's like a genre on Netflix, apparently. It was like cycling through like preview things, and I was just like kind of like watching it because I was bored. And it's like, this one, gritty, action, and then like the next show. Yeah, drama. And then it was like Grey's Anatomy or something like that. And it was like soapy. I'm like, that's a adjective?
All the
soapy.
kissing, drama, soapy.
Soapy, yeah. So yeah, I'd say today is more soapy than sad.
Oh, okay. One of them went into a coma, lost his memory, woke up, his twin had married his wife.
Uh-huh.
Is that how it went?
Yes, precisely. And there's a bomb somewhere in the building.
What is it from Friends? He had a brain transplant or something like that. And he's like in another body. Is that what happens?
Yes, precisely. Somehow on Númenor, they performed a brain transplant.
Whoa. Okay, I'm ready for the soap opera. But
okay.
All I remember from last episode was that he had a beautiful daughter and he left her.
Mm-hmm.
He left her, didn't even care, and was
but
like,
he
"This
made
is
so
just
much of her
something
birthday.
Daddy has to do."
He made her
Daddy
feel
has
special
to go
on her
sailing.
birthday. Not any other day, but her birthday. He really tried.
Yeah. Do you think he made her toys of little boats, like little toy boats to play with?
I'm surprised he didn't try, like, taking her with him. Like, yeah, you love it. Like, maybe if I can get you on board, I can get your mom on board. I mean, probably not, but.
Yeah, no.
Who wants a 4-year-old on a boat?
Oh my gosh. I can just imagine.
With a bunch
Suddenly
of
they're
men.
on the edge. No! How did you get up there?
So, yeah, he left her to go sail back to Middle-earth for just 2 years. That's all he wanted. They had a rough goodbye between Aldarion and Erendis, and Ancalime's goodbye was heartbreaking. Basically prying Ancalimë off of his neck and then just leaving. And no one's really on board for this trip. Daddy Menaldor isn't on board. Erendis is certainly not on board. No green bough of returning from Erendis. The captain's wife had to do it instead. So Erendis is like, you know what? I'm done with this. And she takes Ancalimë and moves to their little house in Emirae, escaping the sea for quiet sheep pastures because, she likes the bleating of sheep more than the cry of the gulls or whatever she called it.
But didn't she isn't it like her own kingdom house? Like it's part of it's not just like a shack or whatever. It's like a nice.
No, it's a nice, yeah. So that was a gift from Daddy Menaldor, daddy-in-law Menaldor.
For his grandbabies.
Yes, the White House of Emirae. And it's, I consider it like maybe a nicer house, but still in my head, it's still very it doesn't stick out, but it's a nicer house in this beautiful, kind of farm country.
Okay.
And then life in this White House is pretty I'd say strict. I would say sheltered. No men are allowed, really. And if they, are coming to, deliver a message or just happen to stop by, they automatically don't feel welcome. It is such a like kind of weird anti-men establishment. Erendis is basically teaching her daughter to hate men, fueling her hate fire, just really sheltering her. I can't think of another word other than that.
Okay, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I don't know if it's hating men is the right way to say it. Maybe she's saying she's teaching her how to live
Without a
sufficiently
man.
without a man.
Okay,
Like, you could do this
that's
on
fair.
your own. You don't
Yeah.
need a guy. I'm gonna teach you all the things so you could be the, like, queen of whatever, and you do not need someone to tell you what to do, or, like, you don't have to wait for someone to allow you to do something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Also, we didn't we say that was like a nun, like a convent? Like, it was like a nunnery?
Yeah, it was, like, just known for being very quiet, like, when men would come, they just felt like it was a cold presence kind of a thing. All
Fun.
women, no
What a fun
laughter, no
place for a kid to
music.
grow up.
Yeah. So, that's basically where we left off last time.
'Kay. Super fun.
So, super fun. So, we began the last episode with Encalame's 4th birthday. This episode, we will begin not necessarily on her birthday, but with Encalame at the age of 7. Now, 7, in my opinion, is a great age. My Lizzie is 8, so it's not too far away. They're starting to become more independent. They're more capable of taking care of themselves. You don't necessarily have to be in the same room as them as like at 100% of the time, like you have to do with like a 3-year-old. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's really a game changer as a mom. And Calamade does take advantage of this independence. Every chance she got, she would get out of the house, quote, where she could run free.
Aw. She's like Merida.
You said Merida. I'm like, she's also like Maria for thinking convent.
Oh, yeah. They sing songs about her when she leaves.
Yes. So, I mean, very typical of the age and understandable given the type of sheltered household she has been living in for the past 3 years. But you can only keep one sheltered for so long. Eventually, the outside world is going to make its way in.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
one day, a boy came by the house. He was younger, but older than Encalame. He was on an errand from a farm a ways away and was getting a little snack before he headed home. This is when Encalame came across him, just hanging out near the back of her house eating some bread. He saw Encalame, looked at her, kind of gave her a nod of greeting, and then went back to eating. Now, it doesn't say what Encalame was doing at this time, but based on the boy's response, there must have been a bit of staring happening. Whether it was like a long stare of shock and curiosity, like, a man, or like a shy, like, look that just kept her glancing back over and over again. It doesn't say, but I could see both scenarios. Eventually, he said to her, quote, "Stare if you must, great eyes. You're a pretty girl, but too thin. Will you eat?" And then he offered her some of his bread.
Oh,
I can't decide if great eyes is a compliment or a diss.
maybe I think they're like those, you know, those kids have those big eyes that are, like, kinda like doe eyes that are like they just stare at you. You're like, what is it called? Oh, I can't remember. But, like a dog when they're like, "You gonna drop that?" Or, like, they just, like, keep, like, "You gonna drop that bread?" Or
So it's funny to me too. Like, and Calame, I would say, is a princess of sorts. And she probably wanted for nothing. She's got a nice house, she's got, servants. She's not wanting for much except a father, maybe.
Oh,
So
no.
so why is she so thin? Is it like this is how we live in the convent or
Maybe she's what do they call it when not slender, but, like, when,
petite?
yeah, but it's, like, something to do with, like, elven, like, very, like, pixie-like, like, very
Oh, Faye.
can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, maybe something like that where she's just, like,
Yeah.
just This petite little pixie-looking thing.
I don't know why, but for some reason, this boy is like, I like a woman with some meat on her bones. Like, gotta
Yeah.
eat something. Eat a sandwich. So
My
just
dog
at
weighs
that
more than you. You gotta eat something.
just at that moment, one of the country women who possibly worked at the house said to the boy, quote, "Be off, Ebal, and use your long legs, or you'll forget the message I gave you for your mother before you get home." Now, the boy Ebal, name meaning is unknown, says to the woman, quote, "No need for a watchdog where you are, Mother Zamin." Again, name unknown. And then the boy ran off, pretending to bark, and just was laughing the whole way.
Oh. In my mind, I think he's, like, 11,
Yeah,
maybe 12.
yeah. So Zamin is described as an old countrywoman who wasn't afraid to speak her mind, and she wasn't known to back down, even to Erendis, who they call the White Lady. So your basic average, like, I feel like there's always one of these in this story. Like, she just is the kind of willing to call people out on their crap and sometimes gets in trouble for it, but most of the time, like, yeah, it needed to be said. Like,
Yeah, very straightforward and frank and
yeah.
yeah.
So Ancalimë asks Zamin, quote, "What noisy thing was that?" Like referring to the boy,
What the heck
which
was
I
that
feel is a
thing?
fair, yeah, a fair description of most boys. Noisy things. But I like Zamin's reply here. He says, quote, "A boy, if you know what that is, but how should you? They're breakers and eaters mostly." Again, a very accurate description of a little boy.
Oh my gosh. So true. It's so true.
That one is ever eating, but not to no purpose. A fine lad his father will find when he comes back. But if that is not soon, he'll scarce know him. I might say that of others.
That is, like, the best description of a boy
Uh
in
huh.
I've heard. That's adorable. It's so simple, but it's, like, so real. That is
Hmm.
literally my life right now with my son, my oldest. He will not like, I'm literally like, "I'm making dinner." He's like, "Okay, cool, I'll have a sandwich." I'm like, "Hey, what?" Like and then he'll eat a full thing of food, and I'm like, "Where is it going? I'm so confused." And he's officially, like, 3 inches taller than me now, and I'm like, "What the heck?"
Well, that's where it's going. He's just like
Yeah.
leveling up.
They're like, but it just keeps getting taller and taller. And then breakers and eaters, that's so funny. That
Breakers and
is
eaters, yeah.
it's so
Noisy
funny.
things, breakers and eaters.
That's adorable. You know what? Maybe he was writing this when he had how I wanna know the timeline when he wrote this and, like, when he had, like, little kids in his house, like, little
Yeah.
toddlers, because his oldest were boys, right?
Yeah. I
And
think,
he had it was just him and his brother, so he knows, like, that's
hmm,
what they are.
yep.
That's adorable. I love that.
So this might have been the first time Ancalame had seen a boy. So most of the guys that maybe have been, around the estate, I would call it, they might have been like older farmers or shepherds, maybe like a king's messenger, but like a boy her age ish probably hadn't seen one. So kind of sad that she's like, "What is that?" And that last comment that Zamin says, that I might say that of others comment, was probably lost on Ancalime, but the father will scarce know the child when he comes back. I'd say that's ringing true for Ancalime as well. That's probably what
Sad.
she was getting at. Yep. So this question that Ancalime asks in reply is interesting, I feel, and it shows that she is very much still a child. Quote, "Has the boy then a father too?" Like,
Cute.
how does these family things work?
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand. Are there, like, 2 noisy boy things out in the
Yeah.
world? I don't really understand this whole men thing.
Yeah.
So Zamin replies, quote, "To be sure, Ulbar, one of the shepherds of the great lord away south, the sheep lord we call him, a kinsman of the king." Now, it doesn't
A
say what she
sheep
meant by
lord.
I know. Doesn't say what she meant by kinsman, and neither does Tolkien. This conversation
Okay.
just makes me so sad. And Calamay just asks, quote, "Then why is the boy's father not at home? Like, if he's a shepherd, shouldn't he be at home? Isn't that what most fathers do?" It really, like, what is Erendis telling her about Aldarion?
Oh.
So Samine replies, "Why H- Herenke, sorry. The little like pet names they have for each other. I kind of like that they do this in the Unfinished Tales. I haven't really noticed this in many other sections, but man, they're hard to say. But that one means little lady, which I kind of love.
Oh.
Herenk, something like that. Because he heard of those venturers and took up with them and went away with your father, the Lord Aldarion, but the Valar know whither or why."
Oh, no, so he's sailing too? The
Mm-hmm.
sea took both of them.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, like, Daddy Meneldor feared that the Venturers were like a bad influence on the men of Numenor,
A
and
gang.
a gang, yeah,
They've got
and would lure
matching jackets.
other men of Numenor into the life of being a sailor. And it seems that even though for a minute they got a bad reputation, that they still managed to get at least one shepherd away from his family.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. So, this information and Ancalame's reactions really do make us wonder exactly what she's been telling her daughter all these years about Aldarion, and if Ancalame even remembered him at all.
Probably not.
Right. 4 years old. She's now 7, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, later that evening, Ancalame said suddenly to her mother, which I imagine was due to a bit of fear and nervousness. I feel like this conversation is like, you can see this conversation happening. And she says, quote, "Is my father also called the Lord Aldarion?" Like they're
Oh.
just like, like just sitting there out of the blue. And then she just like blurts this out. Now, Arendis never called him Aldarion to Ancalame. So for Ancalame to know his name immediately was troublesome to Erendis, and makes you wonder, did she just refer to him by his birth name, Henardiel? Because we kind of talked about how he didn't get his name Aldarion till like later in his life, like after he met Erendis. So is he just Anardiel to her? Or did she just like, is that name not even said in this house and it's just that jerk face, like, he who must not be named, like, does he even get a referenced name at all? Like,
Yeah, like, she's like, "Your father." That's it. That's all
yeah,
you get to know.
exactly. Mhm,
That one guy.
yeah. So Arendis, on her guard, tries to answer calmly and quietly as she says, "He was, but why do you ask?" And Calumet sidesteps the question and asks, quote, "When will he come back?"
Ugh. Ugh.
Now, it doesn't say if Arendis was able to stay calm and quiet or if she snapped this back. There is one exclamation mark that was used, so it's hard to say. I could read it both ways. So she says, quote, okay, I'll go with snappy first. "Do not ask me. I do not know. Never, perhaps. But do not trouble yourself, for you have a mother, and she will not run away while you love her."
Aw. I mean, I feel like that's how she would have said it, but
Right. Like, do not ask me. I do not know. Never, perhaps. But do not trouble yourself, for you have a mother, and she will not run away while you love her.
let's hope it's that way. Let's hope it was the
Yeah,
more loving way.
yeah. I don't like the "while you love her." Like, if you ever get mad at me, I'm done. Like,
Yeah. I'm out.
yeah,
Goodbye.
that's conditional love right there. So, after this conversation that went so well, and Calumet never talked about her father again.
Sad?
hmm So, 2 years go by. Quote, "Lambs were born and grew, shearing came and passed, a hot summer burned the grass, autumn turned to rain." This is how those 2 years are described. And that is, I feel like, is a very apt description of what her life was like. It's all about the lamb and the seasons that
Farming
they're,
and yeah.
yeah. So, and Calumet is now 9 years old when news reaches Numenor that the Hirulande, The Haven Finder has been sighted, and Aldarion is coming home.
Drama. Drama.
I know. hmm Now, this news was given to Erendis and Emiria. Quote, but Erendis did not speak of it. There were none to greet Aldarion upon the quays. He rode through the rain to Armenelos, and he found his house shut. He was dismayed, but he would ask news of no man. First he would seek the king, for he thought he had much to say to him.
He didn't care where his family was.
He like tried a little bit, but he's like, I can't ask anybody. Like, if
That would
if
sound
I
weird, like,
ask, then
"Hey, have you seen my family? No?
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know where
that's
they
too
are?"
embarrassing.
"Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, I do. I know where they are.
yeah,
You don't have to I just I mean, whatever.
yeah.
I'm gonna go see them right now."
And if I like, okay, let's say that where they are at the same time. Okay, ready? So,
Yeah. He does it, like, a little bit after them. "See, I knew that."
yeah. I wonder if Aldarion meant that last sentence is a little confusing to me. Like, first he would seek the king, for he thought he had much to say to him. Did he mean for Aldarion thought Menildor had much to say to him because Menildor is probably mad at him? Or if he meant for Menildor thought Aldarion had much to say to him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if Aldarion thought he had much to say. Like, it just was
Yeah.
very weird how it was said there.
I think it's I have important things to tell the king
Yeah, yeah.
that are way more important than figuring out where my wife and child are.
Yep. And that's going to come up here in 1 second. Quote, he found his welcome no warmer than he looked for, and Menador spoke to him as king to a captain whose conduct is in question. He's taken
Bum,
off that
bum,
dad hat.
bum.
He's now in king mode, which maybe he should have been the whole time, but whatever. Quote, you have been long away, he said coldly. It is more than 3 years now since the date that you set for your return. I'm
Uh,
not great at math, Aldarion, but I'm pretty sure you said 2 years is all you would take. And yet, I think 2 plus 3 would equal freaking 5 years, buddy. That's a little different than two.
yeah.
So
Maybe he
Aldarion
just doesn't know
replies,
how to tell time.
I mean, it's
No one
possible.
taught him.
No one, yeah, because privileged life, man. Aldarion replies, quote, alas, even I have become weary of the sea, and for long my heart has yearned westward. But I have been detained against my heart. There is much to do, and all things go backward in my absence.
Wait, he doesn't want to be a sailor anymore?
Yeah, I kind of, like, I'll believe it. How long will this being wary of the sea last? Like, a week?
Yeah.
Maybe a year. But like all things go backward in my presence. Like, so you mean your little haven in Middle Earth, Vinulande, doesn't thrive while you were gone? Like you actually have to stick around and keep up with things? Then why did you build it if you can't be there to take care of it?
True.
And Menador, picking up on my vibe as he says, quote, I do not doubt it. You'll find it true here also in your right land, I fear.
Things aren't great here either, bud.
Yeah. I like the right land comment. Like, this is where you were supposed to be.
Yeah. You are literally going to be the king of this place.
Yes. And it's referring to, like, if you can't keep up with your haven from far away, maybe it's the same with, like, your family and, like, your homeland here. Just saying.
Yeah.
So Aldarion replies, quote, that I hope to redress, or correct. But the world is changing again. Outside Nyon, 1,000 years have passed since the lords of the West sent their power against Angband, and those days are forgotten or wrapped in dim legend among men of Middle Earth. They are troubled again, and fear haunts them. I desire greatly to consult with you, to give account of my deeds, and my thought concerning what should be done.
There's
So,
trouble right here in River
yes.
City.
So just a reminder of our timeline. So we are in the year 882. In the year 1000, Sauron settles in door and begins building Baradur. And in the year 1200, presents himself to Aregion and uses the name Anatar. So we're getting close. So the things are stirring.
Something's a brewing.
Yeah.
Trouble's a
But
brewing up here.
yes. So while Aldarion's like, things are getting bad on Middle Earth, Menador, who's like, you know what? Quote, indeed, I expect no less, but there are other matters which I judge more urgent. Let a king first rule well his own house ere he correct others, it is said. It is true of all men. I will now give you counsel, son of Menaldor. You have also a life of your own. Half of yourself you have ever neglected. To you I say now, go home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You tell him.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him how it is.
Yes. Makes you wonder what the correspondence was like from Erendis to Menaldor after she basically made it known she wasn't going to come back and just sit there and wait for him in Armenelos.
Yeah.
Like, I know he sucks. I'm so sorry. I will tell him that he is so wrong when he gets back.
Yeah. He probably was like, "Can I just at least come see my granddaughter a few
Yeah.
times, please?"
hmm So, being told by his dad to go home has brought up an awkward question, however. Quote, Aldarion stood suddenly still, and his face was stern. If you know, tell me, where is my home?
Oh, sad. That's sad.
Because he tried to go to his home and it was all shut up. So, where is he supposed to go? Now, Daddy Menaldor is making the right move here, I guess, but if it were me, I would have let him struggle a little bit more. He just answers the question of, where the family is. Figure it out on your own, buddy. Where do you think they are? If it means that much to you, you will make the effort and figure it out on your own. But no, Daddy Menaldor just like, I will give you all of the clues. Just please do the right thing. Please, please, please. So, in answer to where is my home, Daddy Menaldor says, quote, where your wife is. You have broken your word to her, whether by necessity or no. She dwells now in Emirae, and her house far from the sea. Thither you must go at once.
Good luck.
Yeah. He just like spells it out for him. Like, this is what you did wrong. You broke your promise. This is where she is. It's in Emirae. Now you need to go there right now. And this is what you need to do.
She's pretty PO'd,
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yes. Here, take some flowers. Maybe that will help it. Like,
Yeah.
I can just see him like, here's a speech I wrote out. Here's a poem I wrote to
Yeah.
try and soften it. So Aldarion says, quote, had any word been left for me whither to go, I would have gone directly from the haven. But at least I need not now ask tidings of strangers.
Ooh.
Not like, yeah, you're right, Dad. I did break my word. I'll apologize immediately. Just, thanks for telling me where she is. It would have been embarrassing to ask anyone else on Númenor where my wife was because that's something a husband should probably know.
Yeah. Have you seen my wife? No? Okay. He's just walking
Neither have I,
around like,
funny enough. Yeah.
yeah. Hello? My wife?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Aldarion turns to leave, but as if remembering something, he says, quote, Captain Aldarion has forgotten somewhat what belongs to his other half, which in his waywardness he also thinks urgent.
What?
Weird that he's talking in third person, but like he
Yeah.
forgot that she had like a homeland and like her own house and stuff in Emirae. Like he just forgot about that. Like, does he
Yeah.
just like his wife at all?
Oh, yeah. Can you guys give me the
But which
address, though? I don't remember where it is.
yeah. He forgot somewhat what belongs to his other half, which in his waywardness, he also thinks urgent. He's like, the fact that I can't remember these things is probably a bad sign, right? Like, I should probably tidy this
Like,
up here.
not great.
Yeah. And then he adds, quote, he has a letter, still talking in third person for some reason, that he was charged to deliver to the king of Armenelos.
It's like when people
So,
get really nervous and they start like, they put an accent, like, they start talking in an accent when they're really nervous. It's him, and he's like, "Well, old Aldarion's got" he's, like,
yeah.
talking to himself like that. He's like, "Ooh, Well, silly old Aldarion doesn't know where his wife and family is. Oh, that's a little
But
awkward.
methinks he has a
Yeah.
letter to give to the king of Armenelos, and that would be a you.
Yeah, and he's like his, like, fellow sailing buddies are, like, standing like, "Ooh," like
What are you
like, standing
doing?
around like, "What are you doing?"
Is this a bit? What is happening?
Yeah.
So Aldarion hands Daddy Meneldor the letter, which we will read next episode. Interesting, very interesting letter. You're going to want to know what's in
Oh.
there. He bows, leaves the room, and then starts making his way by horseback with two others that were on his ship, and they head towards the Westlands.
Can they never
Now, these
just
two
ride alone? Do they always have to have a friend? Buddy system.
buddy system, well, they also happen to be heading there because Henderek is of the
Oh, yeah.
Westlands. He just happens to live that way. And Olbar from
The
Emiraye.
guy.
The guy, yeah. So they started their journey at nightfall, and riding hard, they were able to make it to MRI the following nightfall. So they're a little tie-ties.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, "N- Men and horses were weary. Cold and white looked the house on the hill in a last gleam of sunset under cloud. He blew a horn call as soon as he saw it from afar."
Uh-oh. Do you think he's like I could see him, like, knocking on the door with, like, flowers and, like, a big teddy bear, like, the awful things that women don't want if you're trying to say sorry.
Uh-huh. I literally call those flowers that are, like, just the most random bouquet, but it's, like, the cheapest thing, and it's, like, the thing that they, like, put out, like, the closest to the main aisles, like, that's the apology bouquet. There's no thought,
Yes.
you just grab the first thing you see.
It could be half dying on one side of the bouquet, like, the flowers are
Yes.
so yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or they're
Yeah.
dyed really not natural
Oh, yeah.
colors.
Mhm. So, at least he gave Erendis warning he was coming. I'm not sure if that was wise on his part, like, to give her time to get ready or if that was wise. I'm on the fence. Like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm here, so it won't be such a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know,
5
maybe
years
I
is quite
I
some
would have wanted
time."
a little bit of a warning.
Yes. Well, they arrive at the house, and there she is, Erendis. She's all in white with her white house. Lots of white things happening. And she's just standing by the door as they approach. Quote, "She held herself high, but as he drew near her, he saw that she was pale and her eyes overbright."
Hmm. Does that mean she was, like, crying? I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Like bright as in like shiny with like tears, or bright as in like fire, like rage, like
Flames on the side of my
on the side of my
face.
face. So, okay, Abby, it has been years since you have seen this man. He broke his word. He left without you, like, really being on board for him to leave. You've technically been married to this guy for 11 years. He chose to leave you and your daughter. He is very late coming back. What do you say to this man?
I think I would, like, stare at him and then, like, pretend to look like I have, like, a watch on, even though I don't have one on. And I, like, look at my wrist, and I'd be, like, pretending it's all like, "Hmm, you know, I swear you said 2 years, but
Yeah.
I guess my watch stopped because it's, pretty I think you're pretty late." I don't
Yeah.
know, like, the amount of sarcasm,
He laid it on pretty thick.
that would be
And she's
me.
had
That's how
quite
I
some
respond to
time.
things.
Yeah.
I'd
She's
be
had
like, "Oh,
quite some time to think about what she's gonna say, and so, like, she better get it right. It better be a good one, right?
she's had a few years."
Yes. Well, what she says is, quote, "You come late, my lord. I have long ceased to expect you. I fear that there is no such welcome prepared for you as I had made when you were due."
Oh,
I mean, pretty close.
ooh.
But, like, did she really prepare a welcome for him because, she ordered the house to be opened back up in Armenelos, but she didn't like go there and like create like a welcome home banner or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
so what welcome is she referring to?
And she didn't even go herself, right? She, like, sent some
Yeah.
other people to do it.
Yeah. So, okay. After all that Arendis has been through, what's the one thing you say to your wife that you know you're in trouble? She says that to you. What could you possibly say to make things right here?
Just that. I say, "There's nothing I can say to make things right." If he said that, I'd be like, "Hmm."
I'm listening.
Yeah.
All he
Uh,
says, do you want to try it again?
I don't know.
What
I
do you
don't know
think?
what he'd say say because 'cause he's been saying pretty stupid things, so I don't know.
Well, referring to this, like, well, we didn't lay out like a big welcome for you. He just says, quote, mariners are not hard to please.
Oh, like, you didn't have to do anything, really.
Yeah. But, you know, maybe as far as welcomes and food and hospitality go, mariners are probably fine with anything. But as to keeping them pleased away from the sea, apparently they are very hard to please, Aldarion.
She's probably, like, gripping if she's, like, standing above him, she's, like, gripping the handrail or the banister, like, so tightly.
Well, so what do you say back? Arendis just says, quote, that is well. And then she turned back into the house and left them all there.
Oh, no.
Like, good thing, because I
Mm.
wasn't going to give you one. A good welcome.
Good day, sir.
And then two women come out to meet the men. One is described as an old crone, but turns out this is actually Zamin from earlier. And Aldarion goes to follow Arendis into the house. Zamin doesn't stop him, but she does very loudly say to the other two men, quote, there is no lodging for you here. Go down to the homestead at the hill's foot. We don't like you men folk around here. We're barely tolerating Aldarion here because he's like, you know, about to be king and stuff. And Erendis has needed a man. But you know what? You two, get out. So one of the men, Olbar, says to her, quote, no, Zamin, I'll not stay. I am for home by the Lord Aldarion's leave. Is all well there? This is like Olbar that's gonna go, how's my family? And Zamin apparently is now the caretaker of all the knowledge and drama. I feel like this is a very good place for her in this soap opera. As she says to Olbar, quote, well enough, your son has eaten himself out of your memory, but go and find your own answers. You'll be warmer there than your captain. Yeah, probably not stoked. And yes, Olbar is the father of the boy that we met earlier. And do you remember me saying this woman wasn't afraid to speak her mind? Because, yes, she's
I
becoming
love
my
it she
favorite.
said what did he say? "Your son has eaten himself." Like,
Out
you
of your
won't recognize
memory.
him anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, it's true.
Well, with the awkward couple reunited in the most awkward way possible, um, I'm going to leave their further conversation for another episode.
Oh. No, I needed the drama of what she says to him. Like, she, like, leads him inside okay, this is my thought.
Okay.
So she leads him inside. He's, like, walking behind her thinking, "Okay, she's not that mad at me." And then they're, like, walking, she's, like, in front of him, and then she quickly turns around and just slaps him in the face.
I mean, yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
And then
And
what does
doesn't
she
say
do? And then,
and then doesn't say anything else, and then walks away and goes to bed. And he has to figure out what to do in the house. And she locks the door and he can't go in the bed. That's
you're
my
not
thought.
that far.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty close. But you'll have to find out next week.
Oh. I was gonna say,
So much fun.
sorry, I will apologize right now because we had some weird technical issues in the middle of this episode. So let's hope
Yes.
that this episode is okay. If not, I apologize.
I apologize. Apparently, it's my computer this time.
Ugh.
Uh, you gave it to me.
No.
No. Podcast gods, why?
And you get a virus. And you get a virus.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey through Middle Earth and Númenor. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Big thank you to our patrons, Dan, Kevin, Victoria, Avery, and Ryan. We really appreciate your support. It really helps our podcast costs and keeps us going. If you would like to join our fellowship, you can join us at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Starting at just $3 a month, you can join as an elf friend of the Shire. $7 makes you a dwarf friend of the Shire, and $9 gets you in as one of our men or women friends of the Shire. So
Yeah.
lots of fun stuff there. We do invite our patrons on episodes occasionally. Abby sends little goodie bags every once in a while. I think it's a cool thing to do. So, and we
And it
really,
helps
really
us,
appreciate
and you
it.
get more
It really
episodes out
does.
of it.
Yeah. If you are enjoying the podcast but cannot contribute monetarily, we understand. But if you could please, please, please just leave us a rating or review or share us with a friend, at us on Instagram. Any way that you can spread the word that we're out there and that we're, somewhat reasonable to listen to and, not annoying or, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, please.
Just the bare minimum. Okay. These girls were not annoying. Not asking for much.
Yeah, true, true. And you can always just share us, word of mouth with your friends, family, coworkers, fellow classmates. Tag us on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that people would like stumble upon us somehow. But any of that stuff really helps as well.
You can share your favorite awkward conversation that you have because my favorite is whenever I wear a Lord of the Rings, merchandise or, apparel or anything like that. And they're like, "Oh, I really like your shirt." I'm like, "Oh, you do? Hey, I have this podcast. If you like Lord of the Rings, and I like Lord of the Rings, I think you'd like this podcast." And I just become a very awkward nerd friend. So, I mean,
They're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And then you like start chasing them down the street. Hey,
yeah.
hey, have you ever heard of this unfinished tales? No?
Okay.
Okay, I'll catch you later. Okay, bye.
So far, the most random person I have found that was like, actually, I started listening to it. I really liked it. I'm like, liar. But it was an
Hey,
Ulta
they could be
girl.
listening
I was
right
like,
now.
I know. It was a girl at Ulta. So I was,
Hey.
nerds come in all shapes and sizes and appearances, and I freaking love it.
So yeah, any help that way is awesome, and we're grateful for
Yes.
it.
Yes. As far as world news goes, Denmark made its way into the top 10 and it kicked Ireland out. It's like, get out of here, Ireland. And it is now number 9. Get it, Denmark. Those Danes.
Whoa, whoa.
Japan jumped up the ladder. It is now 25th. It was 33rd. Romania moved up. New Zealand moved up. Bangladesh and Pakistan, for some reason, were like going together. And then Bangladesh was like, see ya, friend. And then just like went off on its own. So they're
Whoa.
rising up the ladder. Yeah. I don't know what happened to you two. I hope you can, make it up. But, we're all friends here. And
Yeah.
apparently until it becomes to the world news. And then it's domination. Got to make it to that top 10, you guys.
Well, we're so grateful for each and every one of you.
Yes.
And thank you for teaching me today, Ashley.
You're welcome. Until next time, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we are so happy that you joined us today, and we hope that you can join us next time. Bye!
Bye!
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!